Right, a beautiful morning. Welcome. Apologies for the break in transmission, of course, but we're back. We had just had a little bit of a technical issues, but it's all sorted now. Like I said, you're welcome, and this program runs from 11 a.m. to 12 noon every Monday through Friday. And of course, Women Corner is about women, but still we try to fix in some children issues and how to solve it. And of course, we need the men in our lives. So yes, we once in a while talk about the men too, but basically it's more women supporting women. I have an amazing guest today, and today we're talking about the pandemic of femicide in the country right now. Is on the increase, is on the high side, and something we need to talk about. So the young girls, the ladies, will not fall victim, or when they see the red flag, they know what to do to save themselves from such brutality. Anyways, I want you to know we're streaming live on social media at Galaxy TV, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and also we have our YouTube channels. Galaxy TV, we also have Galaxy TV Comedy, we have Galaxy TV News, Galaxy TV Entertainment. So you can like, subscribe, and of course watch as much as you want. Even we have the comedy, which you want to crack your ribs after some very, very strenuous days. You can actually do that by going to our YouTube channels. So we also have Galaxy Television on our Google Play Store and Apple Play Store. Just go to Apple Play Store, Google Play Store, type in Galaxy Television, and of course you can download the app and watch all of our live programs live. Okay, let's go for a short break, then I introduce my guest, then we start cracking. Remember, we're talking about the pandemic of femicide. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. So we have Adebola Esther Adeleke. She's an entrepreneur. She's the CEO of Esther Lawrence Fashion Outfit, and also she's a women empowerment advocate. Good morning, Adebola. Hi, Esther. Good morning.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
It's good to have you. I really need you to speak up so I can hear you clearly. Probably the network or something. But it's good to have you. How are you feeling this morning?
Well, I'm good. Thank you. Very well, thank you.
Okay, first, after this show, I would like to know your address so I could get that wig on your hair. It's so pretty. All right, so let's dive into the topics for today. What we have today, we're talking about is the pandemic of femicide in Nigeria. But the first thing that comes to my mind is, what is the reason? Why do you think we have so much? A lot of people have different reasons. Some will say it's education, some will say it's the greed, some will say it's safety, and some will say the background, probably the training. But for you, what do you think is the major cause of the high rate of femicides we're having? Like, no day passes without you not hearing a femicide, like maybe about 5 or 2, of this count. So what do you think is the major cause of this femicide?
Thank you for that question. I think that over time, violence against women has been something that has not been dealt with, and because it's I wouldn't say it's generally accepted, but because that has not been it has not been handled the way it's supposed to be handled. Maybe the perpetrators have not really been dealt with the way it's supposed to be. So that would encourage other people to want to or do, I call it evil to another human being. I think that's one of the causes. And then gender inequality, when someone is just not comfortable in themselves. So that could also lead to that could also be one of the causes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I have two major news that it came back to back. Now, the first one was a newly wedded couple where the husband stabbed his newly wedded wife just here in Lagos. And of course, we also had another news that came up whereby a man actually killed a lady also, or will I say, Ogun State Police actually arrested a very young person. He's just 29 years, but he was actually involved in killing of ladies. We had the one in Tasway too, killing of young girls, if rape them first, adopt them, rape them, request for money, and after collecting the ransom, he ends up killing the victims. But when they try to nab him. They were able to get just one of the, the person, the perpetrator, and the other ones, I think they escaped, but they are still, on the lookout for the rest of them. Now, I just want to ask, why do you think it's so easy for women to be the target of these killings? Because yes, I know men also get into this or this fix too, but why do you think women are the easiest target to actually just maybe kill? I don't know why do you think we're just the easiest target?
Well, I think because women are, according to the Holy Book, women are weaker vessels, where, you know, most of the time we act emotionally, so we're easily swayed, I would say that for some women. In the case of that young lady that was killed in April 27th, that's online, I don't know if the boy that killed him was a boyfriend, but I'm sure that maybe they were acquaintance, maybe they've known themselves, whether they've been connected in one way or the other. So, and women are easily trusting when it comes to some things, and most of the time, some women don't actually read meanings to, they don't try to, because there would always be signs of someone who could, you know here and there, but some women don't easily pick all those signs to take cautions, to be careful with that kind of a person. I think that's one of the reasons.
So now let's
Hello, can you hear me, please?
the society and social media. Let me put social media too. Excuse me, social media too. Now, do you think social media, the way
Sorry,
it
I can't
always
hear you
plays
anymore.
women and their roles in the society, plus even what the society expects of women, do you think is one of the reasons why we always fall victim?
Sorry, I can't hear that. Please.
Welcome back. Yes, we're still talking about the pandemic of femicide, and we still have Esther. Esther, hi, if you're still there. All right. So sorry for that break. We had to just take a little bit of tips to be able to, continue the program. Okay. So we were talking about the way the society is, in a way, do you think the society has actually normalized violence against women? And also, do you think social media has kind of contributed to the gender role of women and also these incidents of femicide? Do you think there's a way the society and social media has contributed to the pandemic of femicide?
Okay, thank you. Can you come again? The question again, please. Sorry about
Okay,
that.
we have the society and we have social media. Social media is more like the unrealistic representation, or sometimes the unrealistic representation of women. But the society, most of the times, can still be a bit of a representation of women in its roles. So, do you think the society and social media has its own influence in the violence against women and this bad representation of women, which probably increases the incidence of femicide in our society?
Well, I'd say yes to that because because in this the social media has actually contributed a lot to the femicide situations we have in Nigeria mainly, and in the world at large. You know that when there is an abuse or a violence against women and is not um, totally dealt with by the government, and it's not totally dealt with by the government, it's not being handled the way it's supposed to be handled. No penetrator has been brought to book or brought to justice per se. Because I believe if one person is made a scapegoat, or there's a person has been dealt with um, by the law enforcement agent or by the government, or there's a policy that guides women, every one of them would be careful. Everyone would be careful in dealing with women in general. Thank you.
One. So what can we do to challenge this norm via social media and in reality as society? What do you think, both from the women and of course from the men also, because we need them? How do you change, how do you believe we can actually change this norm? This you just agreed, I totally agree too with the fact that I know the society and also social media has given women a lot of bad representation, and of course in a way has how do I put it, has supported the violation against a lot of women. When you go on Instagram, you can even see it all there, on Facebook and all of that. So how do you think we can challenge this norm that is going on right now so we can reduce this femicide greatly?
Okay, thank you. I think one way is to promote um, is to promote gender equality, that no gender is better than the other person. No one is better than the other person. We're all equal. We need to also strengthen the system to allow women come out and talk when they are being abused, or or they're going through one violence or the other in their relationships. And then we also need to create an avenue where the women are they're able to come out, and get some access to help, in order to get help from their perpetrators or from the abuser. And also we need to educate our women to speak out, especially when they realize that there's something going on and they don't, maybe a friend is trying to ask for a male friend, or even it could be your family member. It doesn't have to be your acquaintance alone, it could be your family member. We should encourage our women to speak out when they feel that the environment is not conducive for them. And also I would encourage that the women should be accountable. Whenever you're going out or you're going to be with someone, or you should let another person, at least one or two other persons, know, be aware of your movement or where you're going to. And also government needs to come up with policies that would help women, policies that would save women, maybe a law that would that would just guide the women from being abused or from being killed by either their intimate partners or their family members. I think those are the things we can do. The government and everyone as a citizen can do to prevent femicide. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So a lot of men, when you come to social media and you see news of femicide, this one killed that one, something happened. Even recently I saw on the news just today where just two young, I don't know if I'm gonna call them adults, two youth, actually just youth, a boy and a girl, they're a couple, and they actually were burnt alive. And from the story is that the guy is into a fraudulent activity, and of course he got a huge amount of money, so they were supposed to split. The girl expects that he should split with her. I don't know what the deal was. We do not know what the deal was, but we found out that just because they could not agree to split it, probably equally or unequally, the house was burnt down and both of them were burnt down alive. Now my question is, do you think education and greed is one of the major causes of this increase in femicide? Do you think education, like, I know education is just the four walls of a school. No, there are some other things that get you educated. You can still go to school and still act very ignorant and still not have knowledge on how to live your day-to-day life. You might not even be able to communicate effectively with people or to know when you're in danger. It takes a lot to be well educated. Now I just want to know, do you think, according to what a lot of men say there, that's education and greed? So do you think education and greed is one of the reasons why women are more of the victims when it comes to killings?
That's right. I think education and greed, and also poverty. Poverty, the level of poverty in Nigeria and all over the world is alarming. And in the bit of trying to, in code, find an end meet, people tend to do terrible things and find themselves in a terrible situation. So I think that when people are educated, you're well informed, it would really liberate a lot of women. Apart from poverty, I think that the home front too, when you are talking about education, across, not even your, school, the parent, how are we training our children? What kind of beliefs, do they have? Are we, what kind of, what do you call it now? The training we're instilling in them, what kind of, because the home training, the home front, if the home front has failed in training a child the way the child should go, then the world will train the child for the parent. So I think that the parent, both parents, need to do more, from the home front to train their children well, to know, to be able to differentiate what is valuable from what is not, from what is needed from what is not.
Background also, which is the home front.
Yeah.
What is a home? Then also you talked about poverty. That actually skipped my mind. Poverty is another very good thing, but I want to bring it from another angle. I've seen some persons who are, they are well to do, they are quite comfortable. Okay, I think the answer is still great, because when you're comfortable, your parents are comfortable, you can get probably almost everything you want. Maybe not all, but almost all. You still want more. What your parents can get for you, you want somebody else to get for you, and invariably you're definitely going to fall victim for that, because that's greed. What you can't get for yourself, you want someone else's son, not even married to you, even if he's married to you, to get it for you. I think that's been extra. Now, talking about the men, because I know a lot of times when you see stories like this, the men will tell you because they always want to get what they can afford, what their parents could never afford, you understand? So I just want to know, how do you think men now can actually play a role in helping to reduce this incident, both in their place of, I don't know, but how do you think men can help to reduce this femicide, to play a very good role?
Okay. I think one way is education, really, because like I've said, I don't really know, but I think that men also need to be educated, and they need to be aware that ladies, women, girls are human beings as well. And that you need to know that you do not have right to anybody's life, or to take life out of anybody. So they need to be educated. Men need to be mentored rightly, to know to know what is what they shouldn't do as men. They just need to, some people kill for honor, they just kill for satisfaction, they just want some, because you mentioned for those who are elite and who are wealthy, some of them just kill because they found joy, I don't know, there's this thing it does to them. So men need to be mentored correctly, rightly. They need to be educated, they need to I don't know if I should say they need generally we all just need prayers, really.
Okay, all right. Yes, while you're talking about prayers, I thought about something while you were talking. I said, okay, if it is this bad, you said something that sounded so weird, but it's actually the truth. You said some people just gain satisfaction in killing their fellow human beings, and maybe sometimes might not even be killing a fellow man, might be just killing a woman. Do you think, probably, I don't know, do you think there should be a mental health facility for like free of, I don't know, like before you get to a place of work, or probably every month they should probably go to each houses, I don't know, maybe check the brains of every human being, because I don't think that is very normal at all.
You know that when purpose is not known and the abuse is inevitable, when people don't really understand themselves, and unfortunately, we have so many human who, I'm sorry to use the word, that are mentally derailed. They are not that mentally imbalanced. They're not stable. Maybe because of the upbringing they had, maybe because of an abuse when they were growing up, maybe because of the situation they found themselves. It could even be a peer pressure, maybe from group of friends. It could even be an initiation. People just found themselves in different groups of different angles where they're unable to come out of a situation. So really, I think there's need for a mental awareness, where what will you call it now, mental health awareness, where people really take their mental health seriously, and there should be a way to check, maybe a government institution or organization where people can go and people can be evaluated mentally. I think there should be one.
I totally agree with you. So I don't know, but I feel like there is possibly a way one can actually know that this person might fall victim of femicide. I don't know if there's a possible way, but do you think if there is a possible way to actually know that, okay, this person, with the way this lady is going, if she's not careful, she might be attacked, she might be adopted, she might be raped, and all of that. Now, what are those signs that I think maybe parents or brothers or men around them could notice about a child or a young girl growing up, and they will feel like, okay, if you continue this pattern, you might end up being adopted or kidnapped or raped? I know indecent dressing is one of it, but in as much as people say stop saying indecent dressing, because why shouldn't a man control himself? But at the same time, it is indecent. So you understand, I'm not trying to say what a man would do afterwards is right, but it is indecent. So what are the little things that you think could show a sign of maybe a lady might fall victim of such a situation?
I'm personally not an advocate of putting everything you do online. I do not subscribe to the fact that I have to. If you're not an influencer, you're not a celebrity, I don't believe that everything about your life should be online, should be at the faces of people. So parents need to put that in check, where they don't allow, especially their girls, to post everything, all their movement, online. One has to be very, very careful. You don't, and then sometimes you don't post everything that has to do with your family online. You have to be careful. You don't divulge all the information to people who are not your immediate family members. Some people are just very open. They feel they could say anything to anybody. So there should be caution. Parents need to encourage their daughters, women, as to take cautions in the kind of information you give out to people generally, even among your friends. One has to take cautions. And then lastly, I would say that we need to watch out for the signs. If you have a daughter or a girl who is outspoken, friendly, you really have to continuously speak to that child, to be because if you're friendly and outspoken and outgoing, you have to train the child and guide that child, in how to behave, the signs to look out for, what to do when that child finds herself in a compromising situation. There's need for a lot of things to be done. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's amazing. Okay, my last question. Okay, let's just say second to the last question, because obviously I have one thing in mind. Is it possible? I know it's almost impossible, but I've heard of countries that have been able to regulate, monitor, and of course be able to tame too much exposure of social media, their youth or even parents to social media. Now, do you think there's a way the Nigerian government can actually regulate how much ladies put out nudity or put out their extravagant lifestyle, luxuries, money, expense paid trip to so place and that place? it's beautiful, it's amazing, but do you think there is a way that they can actually regulate this? Because if another lady is probably living the best of her life right now, somebody else somewhere is trying to be like that lady, you understand, and she's not probably even half of, you know, that stage where she can even have that kind of money to get to that place, but she'll want to do anything to get to that place where, you know, she has seen other girls or ladies go to. Now, do you think there is a way that the government can actually regulate how much of this exposure, exposing your extravagant life or nudity on social media? So if maybe that would probably help to curb, you know, this femicide in the society.
Well, thank you. Yes, there's a way the government can curb all these excesses online. They just need to come up with policies, maybe, you know, maybe a law or something to guide the kind of information that should be posted online. It could be regulated. I believe it could be regulated by the government. And, you know, because it's a regulation by the government, everybody would have to abide by it. So yes, government can regulate it. Yes, government can come up with policies to curb the excesses online, to curb the kind of information that people are, you know, are allowed to be posted online, on social media generally.
Thank you very much. I know a lot of Gen Z and the alphas, the ones that are still coming up, I know they'll disagree with this regulation of a thing, because that is where the money is, that is where they feel the life is. They're not even concerned about the reality they're living right now. They just want to make them look good on social media. Anyways, before we let you go, what's your final advice in relating to all of these things we've talked about, that probably, you know, my questions didn't direct you to that aspect, but you would like to say it so that other girls and, you know, the men out there also can hear and learn from?
Okay, thank you. I would start by saying that we all need to, you know, why we have so many chaos all over the world right now is because we haven't been able to find our unique purpose. You know, when you don't know what you should be doing at a particular point in time, you tend to just go into what is available. So we all need to find our purpose and know why we are doing what we are doing, why we're where we are. And when there's no purpose, people just tend to, you know, go AY and do whatever that pleases them. The parents also needs to train their children well. You know, this, I know the Gen Zs, we all need to understand, as parents need to understand the Gen Zs and the Alpha, and find a way to communicate, to speak their language, so that we can what's the word now? So that we can grab them. You know, because when you are able to communicate the language, you have easy access to them. You can understand what they feel, how they feel, and how best to train them or to relate with them, or to, you know, to help them navigate every daily life. Then also, lastly, I would say that we all need prayers. We should, you know, pray for our children. We should pray, you know, when they go out, and then we should let them know. For I know a family that they have, I've forgotten what they call it, but that is what guides them. The children are aware of it, so they don't go outside those guidelines that the parents, you know, has lay down for them. They don't, you know, they have the time they go out, they must report every outing, the parents must be aware, you know, somebody must know what they are doing part time. You know, there's accountability in that family. So I think that would help us generally. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. Amazing input and amazing discussion we've had there. You know, to be honest, there are a lot of things I didn't really think that deep, but while you were talking, I actually got to know that there are a lot of things that we need to do, even from ourselves. You know, sometimes we see these things on the roadside, you know, we're driving, we're in the public bus, we'll see it and we just look and we just pass. I think sometimes, you know, but some people say, if you talk to these Gen Zs or Alpha, they can raise their hand and, you know, because they are very I will not say they are wild, they are over outspoken sometimes, you know, I'm going to use that word, but still I want to appreciate you so much, Adebola Esther Adeleke. Are you related to the Adeleke family? Okay, thank you so much for joining. Amazing one. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
for
much.
having
Hopefully,
me.
when I call you next time, you'll
Mhm.
definitely yield to our call, right?
Hopefully.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
I
you
hope
for
you enjoyed the show.
having me. Yeah, I do. Thank you.
All right, have a great day. All right, and that's all we're able to take for today. I just want to say something which Esther said before leaving. She said, learn to speak their language. This is about the Alpha and the Gen Z, because when it comes to the millennia, your eyes alone can control a millennial child, even as grown as they are. When you meet them with their parents, the mother or the father can still give them the look and they understand. But if you talk to the Gen Zs or the Alphas we have now, they will keep asking you what's wrong with your face, because they do not understand the sign language. So you have to know what is their language, what is that thing that you say to them or do to them that will make them understand what you're trying to say without the whole world knowing what you're trying to say. And also, stop pushing your children to live a life of your expectations, something you expect them to have and you never had. You want them, you're pushing them to their excesses, their extreme, their limits, and at the same time you're making them kind of trying to live up above your mistake. You're trying to use them to correct your mistake in the past. You can't do that. Allow them live their life, but at the same time you're just there to guard them. You're like their roadmap until they decide to make their own do their own directions. But at the same time, even while you're making them, because you're a parent, you should always try to direct them to the right path. Okay, to round up the show for today, let's quickly watch tips for female drivers. This one actually came to me during the weekend, because I've been in a lot of taxi where we have ladies who are driving, and it's is either she's frustrated from what she's saying. She's either frustrated because maybe at home she's expecting this, she's expecting that, or sometimes you see some she even had to cancel this trip. She was like, sorry ma, I can't do this trip, because you can see a lot of things. But also for your safety, because you're a woman, here it is. I don't know, a lot of people were wondering, like, how did you even think about it? This is very important. So let's quickly just check the tips for female drivers. This is strictly for female drivers. When you know you're driving, even in your private car, if you're doing it for commercial purposes, this is something that is just going to help you and keep you safe. Let's quickly have that and wrap up the show.